Good evening, everybody. Hello, and welcome to tonight's masterclass, How to Dress for Your Personal Brand. So I'm going to share my screen for everyone here so you can see, and we will get started. Your style and your image visually represents to everybody that you come into contact with your personal brand. Now, whether you come into contact with someone online, whether you come into contact with them in person, your style and your image is visually representing your personal brand. Now, I work with women who are go-getters, they're high achievers, they have the qualifications and the drive. What's missing is the visual aspect. And so I help align their external image to match. Now, often when things aren't progressing as we would like them to, perhaps you miss out on a promotion or a new role, maybe you just want to have more influence. In most cases, the answer lies in creating a strong personal brand. And the visual part of that is doubly important, I believe, for women because of the confidence that it gives you. And I believe, and there's so many studies to back this up, that a lack of confidence is the number one thing that holds women back. Confidence is a non-negotiable if you want to be successful. Having a strong personal brand is now a non-negotiable. In today's world, it is what you need if you want to be successful. In many ways, your level of success will be determined by the strength of your brand. Now, there's lots of definitions of personal brand. I just want to sum it up really simply tonight. It's how you present yourself and it's how others see you. And it's going to impact everyone that you come into contact with. That is a given. And people are getting snapshots of you all the time now. It's just the way the world is and the way that we do business. We look up someone on Google, we look at their LinkedIn profile, maybe we have, an online meeting with them, maybe you pass someone, in the office briefly. We're getting snapshots of people all the time. And people are going to be looking at your visual style and image. It's the most obvious aspect when someone meets you or sees you online. So I want to share a little bit about how I've figured out my own personal brand and how to dress it, and just a little bit about that journey. So as I mentioned, I had been in public facing roles, marketing, PR roles. I was very comfortable hosting client lunches, being at events, networking, media lunches, all those sorts of things. But it was a big step up to suddenly be, this face when I launched my own business and creating my own personal brand around being an expert in style and image. And one of the biggest things that helped me was knowing who I was through my style and reflecting on that. It gave me a really solid basis of who I was, my values, what I wanted to communicate, and how I wanted to present myself. And it also gave me that initial confidence to put myself out there. Now, I was still terrified when I did my first LinkedIn post. I had to call my coach, who had to talk me into press the post button. But, I was confident in my external presentation. And, understanding my style gave me incredible insights into who I was. And that knowledge then spilled over into the ongoing development and cultivation of my brand. A little visualization exercise for you now. I want you to just imagine for a moment that you meet someone. And let's say it's a professional organizer. So just to be clear, someone who comes into your home, they organize everything, remove the clutter, everything is in its place. Now I want you to imagine that person, the professional organizer, standing in front of you, pulls out a notebook. There's stuff everywhere. Cards, papers, things start falling out. It's a mess. And on top of that, they look messy. So their clothes are wrinkled, shirt's hanging out, it's not really tucked in properly, shoes are scruffy. What would you think? Would you want that person to come to your home to organize it? What we know from a lot of studies into the way that our brains actually work and function is that we believe what we see more than what we hear. Has the strongest impact what we see. And so congruency is incredibly important. You have to have congruency between what you say and what people see. There has to be the same language spoken between those two. If there's a mismatch, then people are going to believe the visual. And I want to share a little story here now, a little anecdote of something that happened really recently, just to demonstrate this point. I was doing a workshop last week, actually, in a company, and the workshop was all about style, personality. So how to dress for your personality, and different messages that are sent through different clothing styles. And after the workshop, one of the participants came up to me at the end and she said to me, "Lucy, what happens if there's not a congruency between what I see, with this person and what they're wearing, and what I hear about this person, like what I'm told about this person?" And I said to her, "You got a specific example, that you can share with me?" And she said, "Well, there's this person in the office, and I'm told that they're professional and they do their job well, but when I see them, they look so unprofessional, and it really makes me not want to approach them." And so I repeated her question back to her. I said, "Well, you tell me what happens then. What happens when there's not congruency? We don't approach people. We don't think they're professional. We don't think they're credible. Whole host of things can happen and can be really, can cost people things in their career. Even if they're great at what they do, we believe in the visual. So if you are saying or communicating, whether that's through your LinkedIn profile, maybe through a cover letter, a resume, if you're saying or communicating that you are someone who's dynamic, that you are someone who's energetic, that you are someone who's powerful, that needs to be visually reflected for you to have credibility, authority, and influence. And so if we look at the images on the screen there, if we have a look at the lady on the left, yes, she's wearing a suit, which traditionally we might say is, a powerful, item, but it's not a well-fitting suit. If you look closely, the pants are actually too tight across her crotch. There's a lot of creasing. They don't look pressed very well. There's nothing memorable or that stands out about that outfit. If we look at the woman on the right, yes, now that's dynamic. Now I feel energy and now I see some power coming through. So we will believe, ladies, what we visually see. Okay, let's get into the 3 steps to create a style that sells your story. So the first step is to actually define your brand. So what are the values that you want to communicate? What do you want people to think of when they see you? Have a think about that. Also encourage you, if I don't know if anyone's here's done it, but I encourage you to Google yourself. Have a look at the results that come up. What's being reflected now? Like if you were to look at that, is it an accurate representation of how you would like to be seen? At the end of the day, people are going to form an opinion of you. So let's give them enough information through our appearance so that it's an accurate one that speaks to your values and how you want to be seen. So that is step 1, define. Step 2 is to be clear on who you are. There's no one else like you. Your personality is unique to you. Your physical characteristics are also unique to you. And when you learn to dress who you are in an authentic way, people will connect with you. People will relate to you. And that's how you differentiate yourself. You differentiate yourself by being authentic. And if you had a look at some of the emails I sent out prior to this masterclass, I'd given you some questions to reflect on to help you prepare. And one of those was around thinking about, what do you love to wear? What are you wearing when you feel most confident? Those are 2 just really simple questions to help you start getting clear on who you are. And so I just wanted to share here with you 3 examples of women who have, really got their selves on display. They've got a really beautiful, authentic style. So on the left-hand side, Julie Bishop. So for those of you who maybe aren't in Australia, she was a former politician here. She was deputy leader of one of the major parties, the Liberal Party here, for many years. On the right-hand side, another Australian founder of beauty retailer Mecca, Jo Horgan, and Alexandria from the US in the middle, so a US senator. What I love about these women and their style is we see through their style that they know who they are. And what that does is we take them seriously. It gives us confidence in them. So authenticity is incredibly important. 1, for you to feel confident. These women don't dress the same. They've all got their own style. They're clothes that feel authentic for them and give them confidence. The second reason why authenticity is important is to inspire confidence in those around you. Step number 3, once you've defined your brand, you know who you are, who you authentically are, then it is about choosing clothing that aligns. It matches who you are and how you want to be perceived. Now, I often talk about this. You might have seen this before. I talk about this a lot because this is how you strike the balance. You strike the right balance between your personality and your environment when you find the sweet spot. And the sweet spot here is when you're dressing in a way that reflects your personality, it's appropriate or, works for the environment, and it sends the external message that you want to send. And that is when you are really able to hone in and leverage your style. I want to introduce you now to Francesca. So Francesca is another lady. She's gone through this system as well. Francesca was struggling when I first met her with quite similar to Katie. How do I create a visual brand image for my work and career? When I first met her, she wasn't sure what clothing, what hair, what makeup would reflect that image. She didn't have the knowledge. She didn't understand the styles, the colors, the accessories that suited her best. So we got lots of clarity and we were clear on how she wanted to be perceived: credible, dynamic, stylish. We had her style personalities that we were tapping into. We each came up with a beautiful style statement that is her anchor. She anchors back to that genuine. She's genuine and vibrant. And so going through that system, it's allowed her, now she has the confidence to put looks together for every single occasion. She has the knowledge. And she's got go-to style formulas, which she loves. Now, she's actually going through a bit of a rebrand. She's positioning herself to move into a consulting role. And the work that we have done already around her style is giving her a huge amount of clarity into that personal brand. And she's already aligned to how she wants to be perceived.